Today we're going to continue to read into the book of Melanin, Gift of the Cosmos by Jade Asikewe. Last time we read chapter 2, which dealt a little bit with the objectives of the many benefits of melanin, highlighting what melanin is good for in terms of the life we live, either on the surface or from an in-depth spiritual perspective, from the cosmos, and how the benefits of melanin is provides some sort of healing, has a healing component to the many realms, such as I mentioned before, being in the surface, in the cosmos, in the universe, or in the higher realms of the spiritual dimensions. So we're going to continue into chapter 3. Chapter 3, the presence of melanin on a spiritual level. Now we're gonna delve a little bit about its comprehension in terms of the spiritual component of melanin. All right. Chapter 3, the presence of melanin on a spiritual level. It is true that the physical presence of melanin in your being presents immediate benefits, such as protecting the tissues of your skin, eyes, and cells. However, the melanin that exists within those of African descent on a spiritual level is much more advanced. It is this melanin of your spirit that has the potential to change your entire life. The direct relationship between skin pigmentation and brain cells. Before the embryo becomes a fetus, the outer layer of skin, meaning the ectoderm, produces the melanin. This melanin eventually helps grow into the brain, as it has 12 melanated centers, which are known as black nuclei. The outer layer, they grow in the blastula, becomes the spinal cord, and eventually in the brain. The 12 nuclei is considered the highest. This is the nuclei that will begin to form the brain, known as the locus coeruleus. Locus coeruleus. I'm sure some of you have heard this term from your if you're taking biology courses, you've heard this term. It is believed that the locus coeruleus is the closest human connection to spirituality and in an altered state of consciousness. This is also the area of the mind that allows humans to access the dream world. It is believed that this dream world allows us to learn from our past ancestors, that we can channel the creative powers of those of African descent who have walked the earth. Though we are both part of the animal kingdom, animals typically have a lighter pigment than those of African descent. Less of them have pigmented centers in their mind. Thus, they will not all be able to reach the same level of consciousness that humans can. The chlorophyll of plants also has similarity to the spiritual melanin of a human. The melanin within you always seeks greatness and is only held back by the limitations that you put on it. Plants take in their melanin as sun also, using it for food to promote growth. As a plant grows, it often grows toward the sunlight of the earth, finding the best, brightest food source in reaching toward it. As human beings, our melanin content can also motivate us to reach to higher developed states of consciousness, learning what our true values are, and then using the power of melanin to manifest our desires in the world. The spiritual beliefs of early African scientists. Before the time of oppression, African scientists realized the incredible connection between the melanin of their skin and the melanin of their mind. It was believed that the connection of carbon and black melanin life force was divine, for it was for it was within all things that inhabits the earth. Ancient Africans often called themselves various names that meant black, like Kemites, which means people of the black earth. Scientists of the time worked hard to uncover the secret inner workings of their mind, understanding the relationship between the mind and the body. Eventually, these scientists learned that the level of blackness of the skin was directly related to a higher level of spirituality and inner vision. Those who realized this connection realized the divine presence within them. They realized the vibratory energies that swirled around them, all the different shades of black that existed as the color of the ocean of outer space that is the universe. The dark matter is the birthplace of all the planets in the solar system. The stars in the sky, all the galaxies in the universe, and all the living and non-living things that exist in the cosmos. The purest presence of this carbon, this black matter, is the black holes that are scattered across the universe. These black holes are the richest source of carbon in the universe, as all they do is absorb all energy that comes into their path. The role of carbon in all this has to do with the chemical form of melanin. Melanin can be thought of as a chain of carbon atoms that have lined together. These incredible chemical captures light and has the potential to reproduce itself. Within the brain, black neuromelanin is the core of what is responsible for inner vision and intuition. It is also responsible for one's spiritual illumination and creative genius. The reason that melanin opens all these pathways is because it allows you access to the inner workings of the subconscious mind. Within the subconscious mind lies the wisdom of your ancestors, like a timeless memory bank that has collected all the information learned by the knowledgeable, creative Africans that have walked this earth and learned to harness their incredible spiritual energy. One of many great scientists discussed was George Washington Carver. Let's read that again. One of many great scientists discussed was George Washington Carver. Carver is credited with discovering the many uses of the peanut, but there is more to his story. Some scholars believe that it was not his master's degree in chemistry that allowed him to come up with all his original genius ideas, but the knowledge of self drove his discoveries. George Washington Carver was very dark in nature and had an incredible mind. One that was open and receptive to the creative genius of the black melanin of his brain. Carver was noted to take early morning strolls, which he believed fostered an environment to absorb sunlight and clear his conscience, which guided him to take the next step in his research. The problem with this theory was the effect that it had on an African American children, who began to resist traditional teaching methods because they desired to be in tune with nature and preferred to learn outside. Melanin gives you the power to control your vibratory frequency. Melanin has the power to absorb and to put forth. As you charge your melanin, you give it greater power. However, you should not confuse this great power with getting what you want. The vibrational frequency put forth from your melanin has the potential to be positive or negative. It is what you choose to consciously do with this power that will go out into the world. As you create this vibrational frequency, that which is similar will come to you in abundance. Let's read that again. As you create this vibrational frequency, that which is similar will come to you in abundance. Create a high vibrational frequency, refusing to let negative thoughts and excessive worry into your mind. When you emit this high frequency of melanin, it attracts other high frequencies. This is because whatever you choose to resonate as your own energy, you attract. This works similar to the way that glass breaks when a high note is sung. Many people believe that breaking a glass with a high note is a parlor trick of sorts. However, there is a science behind the way that it works. Think for a moment of the sound that a glass makes when a small metal tine is struck against it to make a sound. Imagine this as a chord. When the note carried from the vocal cords of the singer reach the same frequency of the glass, it breaks. The energy in this scenario starts in the singer's vocal cord, traveling across as a sound. Then the energy is pushed into the air of the throat before being pushed out through the mouth and into the surrounding area. This energy then moves through the air, being attracted to the glass. As it starts to equal the energy of the glass, the two sounds resonate as one. This creates a great vibration, one that moves through the glass. When the glass can contain no more energy, the vibration is strong enough that the glass breaks. Melanin and race. When most people think of the first people on the earth, especially those who follow the Bible, they think of Adam and Eve. Though the skin color of these first people has never been scientifically examined, it is commonly believed that they were white. However, if the first people were white, how could they create a melanated being? While people with lower levels of melanin can seek sunlight and attract more melanin, this will eventually fade with time. Even if it is maintained, a person with this low level of melanin could never become as dark as those of true African descent. It would make sense, therefore, that Africans were the first beings. As people with melanin deficiencies bore children that were lighter, other races were created from the African race. Migration to different areas farther away from the equator also played a role in the lighter skin tones that would contribute to future races. This is one of the things that makes those of African descent so incredible on a spiritual level. All races, those of brown, yellow, and white skin tones, are derived from this original African race. It is impossible to create someone of pure African descent from all the less melanated races of the world. But it is possible to derive all the different melanin states from an African bloodline. In some people with a lighter complexion, their melanin appears as clusters of freckles on areas of the body that gets the most natural sun exposure. The four categories of race. Scientists who have studied how melanin relates to race from a cosmic perspective have classified humans into four groups according to the amount of melanin contained within their body and the spectrum of light that can be absorbed as a result. To understand this, remember that melanosomes are tiny pockets in which the potential or lack of potential of the body to create melanin lies. Stage 1. Someone with stage 1 melanin level has empty melanosomes. They do not possess the necessary equipment to make melanin. These types of people may be melanin recessive and may need to adjust their diet or increase sun exposure to remain healthy. Stage 2. A person with stage 2 melanin level has the ability to make melanin. Their body has plenty of potential, but the melanosomes themselves are empty of melanin. Stage 3. An individual with stage 3 has access to some of their melanin as they possess the machinery to create melanin and also have melanosomes that are filled halfway with melanin. Stage 4. At this stage, the individual likely has a dark complexion. The body possesses the necessary machinery to make melanin and also has melanosomes that are completely filled with melanin. People of Caucasian descent have stage 1 and 2. While they all possess melanin to an extent, they do not necessarily possess the melanin levels necessary to connect on a spiritual level. It is common for people of Asian, Latino, and Hispanic descent to be stage 3, with skin tones that are not light but that contain at least some degree of melanin. Those of African descent are common to stage 3 and 4, depending on the purity of the melanin within. Regardless, stages 3 and 4 have the most potential for connecting to the universe on a cosmic level and bringing your great ideas and your deepest desires into existence in the physical world. People of color also have circulating melanin, which is caused when excess melanin spills from the melanosomes into the blood and circulates through the body. In a way, those like albino people who may be melanin recessive may even be seen as having a genetic disorder. Racial background and energy absorption. We see the color of those around us as we would everyday objects. The light is absorbed or reflected off the individual's skin, depending on their melanin content. Skin color, therefore, is a matter of perception, but melanin content is not. The amount of melanin within your skin determines the range of light energy that can be absorbed. Those with the stage 4 melanin can absorb the entire light spectrum, from basic electric power to the great cosmic waves. Those with stage 1 melanin can absorb a very limited amount of the light spectrum, which means they must intake their melanin from other sources. They also cannot absorb this wide range of energy that connects melanated beings to the cosmos. Hyperperception. Melanin is highly integrated in the nervous system of African American human beings. This nervous system is what is responsible for perceiving the world around us. It is what gives us the ability to perceive what we see, smell, taste, feel, and hear. We interpret these things and they become reality. Since those of African descent have such a connection between their mind and their skin, it is almost as if there is a second brain that grows on the outside of the body. It is this brain that perceives the world around you when you are of African descent, allowing you to be aware of all your surroundings. When you are in tune with this outer brain, you become that much closer to the people and things around you. This means that as you experience life, you have a closer, more human experience because you can perceive all things. Melanin and the cosmos. An example. One highly studied group of Africans during ancient times is the Dogon tribe of Mali. I'm sure you all have heard of that tribe. These African people have very deep melanin skin tones, so it would stand that they would be a stage 4 level of melanin and have the ability to the entire universe. Let me read that again. One highly studied group of Africans during ancient times is the Dogon tribe of Mali. These African people have very deep melanin skin tones, so it would stand that they would be a stage 4 level of melanin and have the ability to the entire universal energy spectrum. The reason the Dogon people are so interesting is because they have explored the universe and uncovered and recorded intricate details of the cosmos beyond us, even before men went into space. Some of the details they uncovered include where our star, the sun, lies, where the white dwarf companion of Sirius exists in the sky, the rings of Saturn, how the Milky Way has a spiral structure, and the moons of Jupiter. Even though you cannot see these things with the human eye, the Dogon tribe was able to observe and record them. The Dogons also uncovered them before the time of technological instruments. So the question remains, how? The Dogons replied on their existence as melanated beings. Let's read that again. The Dogons relied on their existence as melanated beings. They were able to sense these astrological patterns, making record of them as drawing on their clothing in the huts that they lived in. This mystery plagued the Europeans in the years to come, especially since at the time this Dogon information was uncovered by the Europeans. Was uncovered by the Europeans. They had just started to uncover these cosmic entities, and that was only with the help of high-powered telescopes. The Dogons felt the existence of these cosmic entities, perceiving them with their second mind and recording this information as reality. This is something that would never be possible for someone who was melanin recessive. Another example of this incredible power of melanin is the way that ancient Africans communicated. There is a reason that Africans today are so incredible at the drum, especially tribes living within third world countries. The drums are a means of communications. Ancient Africans could send these sounds and images using the drum, communicating with tribes who were hundreds of miles away from the source of the drumming. If you compare the abilities of the Dogons and other African tribes of the time against Europeans, it becomes clear that there is a major difference in their abilities to perceive the universe and use it for their understanding and advancement. This difference is not in the civilization or the access of materials, but in the ability of blacks to harness the ability of melanin on a cosmic level and use it for greatness. Also, I should also mention that African beings or Kemites are not they're not material being, they're a spiritual being. So they're not operating on a physical level, they are operating in a spiritual level. Known or unknown, that is. African hair, the golden spiral, and the electricity of melanin. The hair of those of African descent is also incredibly powerful, with its spirals and its ability to attract and store electricity, giving those who wear it incredible potential. The golden spiral. The spiral is something that can be seen through all of creation. The golden spiral is a symbol highly valued in the universe. It is said that all life is created of a spectrum of circles, each of these being weaved throughout one another. This spiral is found in birth and death, with every breath in and out, and in different worlds of day and night. It is often called the divine proportion, as the spiral in its constant can be found throughout the universe. It is present in the spirals of your fingertips and the shape of the human ear, as well as in the waves of the ocean, the double helix of the DNA, molecule of all living things on the universe, the shape that roots and stems follow as they extend from seeds and seashells and all other things in the universe. Every human being has these swirls on their heads, as even Caucasians have a whole pattern from which hair sprouts on their head. However, those with straight hair have only this pattern, which comes to an end at the roots of their hair. As someone of African descent, your spirals extend beyond this initial whorl and into your hair. The longer your hair is, the more creative power you hold within it. The electricity of African hair. When people think of African hair, they often think of hair that is dark in color, wavy, thick, nappy, and frizzy. This hair can be incredibly difficult to manage, as it seems to always be electrified and wanting to reach towards the sky. I would know that. However, this is not necessarily a bad thing. Have you ever appreciated your hair for what it truly was? It is not uncommon for men and women of African descent to wish they had more manageable hair. Some of them even resorting to dyeing it, straightening it, and making it lie flat. When you make your hair lie flat, you are stopping your flow of power. When you dye your hair, you are taking away from its ability to absorb and attract all the electricity from the different spectrums of universal light. When you temper with your true African hair, you are tempering with your ability to absorb and digest information from the sun. Often, it is thought that true beauty is to have smooth, sleek, and beautiful hair. What is beautiful hair? I don't know. It is thought that lighter, fairer skin is beautiful. What is lighter, fairer skin? I don't know. However, all is beautiful. Now that's a true statement. All is beautiful. Its beauty is not shaped to one particular thing. Beauty is vast. Beauty is as vast as the cosmos, you can say. However, all is beautiful. That's true. This is a trick that diminishes what you truly are by depleting your access to the great dark matter that covers the cosmos. Allow your hair to grow naturally. Style it, but do not use relaxers and other harmful ingredients that take away from the majestic being that you truly are. Learn to embrace your hair and value it for the incredible way that it pulls melanin and the creative power of the universe into your field so that you may shape it, project it, and bring the things that you desire into reality. And that is the end of chapter 3, Melanin, Gift of the Cosmos by Jade Asikewe.